Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for another episode of A Life of Giving. And this is episode 2, if you're keeping track. And we're going to take a look, a very, very close look, in fact, today at something very appropriate for this Christmas season going on right now, and that is charity. This is also the cornerstone and guiding light of this very program, and of course, Reverend Richard Klingeisen's life and passion. And of course, we have the man of the hour here with us right now. So how are you today, Reverend Klingeisen?
I'm doing fine.
Very good. So let's dive right into it. You're known for your charity work. How do you determine which causes are the most important?
I have been looking at that for a number of years, and I think what really is the delineation between one and another is what does my personal interest really want to fulfill? There are so many charities that deal with helping the poor, children. There are charities that are out there looking for environmental support. And none of these are bad. It's just that you need to realize your availability and income and what you really want to involve yourself with. So my first determining cause is my personal interest in any one of these particular areas. And then once I've done that, I want to make sure that this is a legitimate appeal kind of thing. So I will check out Charity Navigator on the internet to see how they rank them as far as how much of the money is really going to the program and how much is going to administration or paying people who are running it. And it's kind of surprising at times to see the differences, but it helps to make some really good decisions on my part.
That's fascinating. I never knew that website existed. We'll find the domain name and flash the URL across the screen. So as you're enjoying this program, you should be seeing that right now on your screens. Now, do your organizations, meaning the church and the school, do they donate to causes as groups, or is it all done through individuals such as yourself?
No, it's both. I'll give you an example. We have like our men's organization in the church, and we have a women's group. And as they go through the year and they look at their available funds, they'll make some decisions to help some of the local charities, especially at this time of the year, by sending them a donation. I'm thinking of groups like what we call the Hope House here in the Manitowoc, Wisconsin area, which takes in women and children who are homeless. There's the Haven, which is a men's organization. So they do things that way, and our school children as well. They will do food collections, and we'll see that gets to a food pantry.
Right, of course. Okay, very nice. And I want you to share with me by name some of the main charities that you support individually or as part of a group.
Yeah, the main ones that we have going through the church here is the Cross Catholic Outreach Group, and another one is Food for the Poor. I know some people who have volunteered their services to actually go to places outside of our country where there is poverty, and they come back and give us some information about their experiences, and then they appeal to the church to see if we can help them out with some financial assistance for helping them with a combination of things. Like Cross Catholic addresses not just food, but medical issues and housing issues and education for the children as well. So it's kind of a multiple outreach, and we've had some really good speakers come and share their stories with us. So I found that rather interesting. I usually bring one of those groups in every year. And then other charities that I'm involved with are the St. Vincent Mission in David, Kentucky. I've been a part of that group for over 35 years now, and what really drew me to that was the fact that this is hands-on charity. I mean, we're working to repair houses, build wheelchair ramps, fix leaky roofs, put new roofs on, etc., etc. You get to know the people and their great appreciation for these things, and you just want to be there to help them out. And around this time of the year, I'd like to always give them a little financial assistance too for their Christmas store, so people can come and get some food. If there's not donations available, then the mission has trouble buying some turkeys or other food to give to each family for their Christmas dinner.
Right.
So we like to do that. And the other group that I'm working with is the St. Gianna Molla Guild. Now that's made up of professional people, dentists, physicians, healthcare workers, but their mission is really to support each other, and even though they pay a membership fee, they do need some additional help in terms of bringing in some good quality speakers,
Mm-hmm.
and the help that we're able to give them.
Very good. And I want to take a moment to give the web addresses of these different organizations. Now, first of all, you had mentioned Cross Catholic Outreach, and the web address for Cross Catholic, and this is going to flash across the screen as I'm saying this, of course, but that's www.crosscatholic.org. www.crosscatholic.org. And it's quite interesting because they're currently in 29 countries around the globe. And we're talking about all different areas of relief: food, water, education, housing, disaster relief, medicine, micro-enterprise, which, if you're not quite sure what that is at home right now, if you're listening to this, that in a nutshell, you could say it helps poor families start their own businesses, be more industrious, and so forth. You can read more about that. It's a bit more complex than just that. But also there's orphan donation that Cross Catholic handles as well. So I think it's pretty obvious why you got involved in Cross Catholic Outreach, Reverend Klingeisen. But I wonder if you could tell us how long you've been involved with that organization.
I would say approximately 10 to 12 years now.
Wow. Okay. And I imagine that's going to be a very long-term relationship as well. It's a stellar organization. And regarding Food for the Poor, the web address for them is www.foodforthepoor.org. Again, that's www.foodforthepoor.org. And that one spans, at present time, 17 countries, and they provide, and of course you did touch on this before, Reverend Klingeisen, but just to reiterate and perhaps give kind of an overview to those at home, for those at home: life-saving food, secure housing, clean water, healthcare, emergency relief, again, micro-enterprise projects, and of course educational opportunities. And interestingly enough, their mission statement, a paraphrasing of that statement, is that they're giving the poor a chance at a better future and showing them God's love. So it's a really wonderful organization to get involved with. So if you can, head over to their website once you're done listening to this podumentary, and you'll be able to take part. Now, moving on to St. Vincent Mission of David, Kentucky, their website is www.stvincentmission.org, and Saint is abbreviated, of course, so it's STVINCENT vincentmission.org. And that, of course, is on your screen as well. And that's a wonderful community of people who share a very important core Christian value series of beliefs and tenets, you could say, that they live by. So it's just wonderful, and they believe that all persons have a God-ordained right to the basic needs of life in order to meet their full potential. Would you say that's accurate, Reverend Klingeisen?
That's very accurate.
Very good. And last but certainly not least, the amazing St. Gianna Molla Guild of Northeast Wisconsin. And their website is www.sgmgnew.com. I know that one might sound a little bit funny over the radio program, so you might really need to look at the screen for this one. So it's right up there for you, sgmgnew.com. And of course, they represent faithful Catholics in the medical community. They create and organize educational resources and events. They advocate for members, the church, and the medical profession in public forums. And of course, they provide guidance for bishops and other national leaders on healthcare ethics and policy, much like Reverend Klingeisen indicated a few minutes ago. So if you head over to their website, you can learn quite a bit more than that. It's a very informative, multi-tiered, layered website with a lot to go through. They all are very much like that, the 4 sites that we just gave you. So do head over there when you have a moment. And a few other things that I want to go over with you, Reverend Klingeisen. I mean, it's safe to say that these organizations that we've just discussed, they depend on you for your goodwill and charity. Now, you mentioned in episode 1 that your family was very charitable in their support, and this played a pretty big role in your life and served as certainly an influence. Do you think the idea of charity has changed for better or worse over the years?
You know, I think that what I'm seeing is that people are probably still very charitable in our area, and a desire to do it. I know that some folks are struggling with some of their financial situations, but when I look at the success of raising either financial support or asking for donations of food products, or like I just mentioned, the collection of shoes, I see in the parishes that I'm the pastor for here, that there are 2 different parishes, that people are generally still quite generous, and that spirit is there. So I'm pleased with that. I hope that continues.
As do I. Now, I want to discuss Catholic schools in general. How much comes from tuition and how much comes from charitable donation in the Catholic school system? Are the numbers comparable?
You know, that's a very interesting question that you're asking, actually double questions here. And I would think that it depends on the communities and how they are approaching the funding of the school. When I talk to some of the neighboring school principals or pastors, I know they have tuition rates that are much higher than what I have at my school, for example.
Right.
But I am fortunate in that we do have a couple of charitable different fundraisers that have been very successful for us. And by that I mean we have a one-day fundraiser in the summer where we raise and clear about $70,000. And for our school size, which is now right around averaging 50 students, that's kindergarten through 8th grade. So we are, a small satellite school compared to some of the larger regional schools where they have much higher tuition rates. And I really don't know what their charitable donation percentage would be. I would say in our situation, my situation, our charitable donations pretty much match what our tuition rates are right now.
Okay.
And the other thing that has been helpful is in Wisconsin, we have the Wisconsin Voucher Program, which allows for support through the state for those families that meet certain low-income criteria. And we're getting about a third of our support for the school through that particular voucher program, with the number of students that qualify.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, every nonprofit has, well, I won't say every nonprofit, but many nonprofits came from humble beginnings. I think just by definition, that's often how they start, just with somebody's idea, and then it grows over time through contributions. But do you know, Reverend Klingeisen, of any fledgling startup nonprofits that could use an extra boost of notoriety to get going this holiday season?
Well, of those that I particularly mentioned, I guess I would continue to put an emphasis on the St. Vincent Mission. Now, by fledgling, it's been around about 35, 40 years, something like that now already. But they're in the Appalachian Mountain region of eastern Kentucky.
Right.
And the challenges there, as far as employment, a lot of them used to be employed in the coal industry. That is basically becoming almost non-existent there in terms of green energy emphases. So there's a lot of need, and whatever support go that way would definitely be very much appreciated as they try to adjust to their situation there in the Appalachian Mountain region.
Okay, very good. Well, sometimes people aren't always sure which charity to contribute to. They might feel bad donating to one but not the other, and as a result, they sometimes end up donating nothing. How does someone know which charity or charities would be best for them personally?
I think each person has to take the time to ask themselves, what is it that is driving my interests? What are my personal likes, in other words? Do I want to see that people have clean water, for example, that there are enough deep water wells that are drilled that can supply good drinking water, etc., for the people? Or maybe they're thinking, I'm a person who really likes children, and I don't want to see them starving for lack of food or good health care, so they may then move in that direction. Or there's there's the life issues, there's the other social issues, and environmental issues. I mean, these are a number of different areas. So it's basically, what I'm saying is, how do we choose a charity? It's asking yourself, what is most dear to my heart? What would I like to support? And even in doing that, we need to realize that there are sometimes multiple charities in that same area.
Right.
That's why I mentioned a bit earlier, you don't want to just jump in on any one of them. I encourage you to check Charity Navigator to see that this is a good run charity that's donating a good percentage of your money to the programs that they're endorsing, and that it's just a good sound charity that you're pleased with, that you like the fact that your dollar is being spent well.
Right. Some people really just can't afford to give very much away. What do you say to those people who feel bad about not being able to give more to charities? How do you ease their minds?
Well, this one is very easy for me as a clergy person to respond to, because I quickly thought of the story of the widow's mite, where the widow is observed by Jesus and the scribes and Pharisees. The wealthy people were giving to the temple poor out of their surplus wealth, and the poor widow gives 2 small coins worth maybe a couple cents in value.
Yeah.
And Jesus comments and says, she has given more from her want than all of those who have a surplus. And they've been generous, but it's a way of saying to those who don't have much, even if you only give a little bit, it's treasured. It's a sense of you're opening your heart and saying, I want to do what I can, even if I can only give a couple dollars.
That's a message that will resonate far and wide as people enjoy this program. You see, we're trying to take that spirit of giving and charity that people feel so strongly during the holidays, and we're trying to push that right into the new year. So whether you're hearing this in February, March, April, May, whenever it is, we urge you to give in the same way, to think in the same way that you might think during the holiday season, when people are, by and large, at their most charitable. Well, that about wraps it up. So we're gonna reconvene for episode number 3. But this one right here, this episode 2 that you've just finished listening to and watching, it's an important one, and we really do want people to make whatever effort they can to enhance the charitable feeling of the time this Christmas season. And of course, we're going to run those links on screen again, and you'll be able to check out the websites and hopefully give what you can in order to make life that much better for those people out there who really, really need it. So it was great speaking with you today, Reverend Klingeisen, and I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
And same to you.